Hi there, myself Madhav Jha. I welcome you to CodeChef and let's have a look at this question.
The problem is minimize distinct. The problem difficulty is easy and there are no prerequisites. Let's have a read at the problem. We are given an array A of length n such that all the elements in our array A are in between 1 and n, including both of them. Then for each pair of numbers L and R in such a way that both of them lie between 1 and L is less than equal to R, we define a function f of L comma R. We define it as follows. We'll consider another array B of length n. Then for each index I, if the element at this index is in the range of L and R, then we set the element of B to be I plus 1, otherwise we set it to I minus 1. So we are defining the function ln r to be as our function b. So for example, let's say we have this array A with elements 1, 2, 1, 5 and 3, and then we compute our function of 2, 4. Now any element that is in the range of 2, 4 will get increased by 1 and rest will get decreased by 1. So 1 which is outside the range becomes 0, 2 which is within the range becomes 3, 1 becomes 0. 5 is also outside the range, so it becomes 4, and 3 is inside the range, so this also becomes 4. So as you can see, the function gives us the value of our array B, that is 0, 3, 0, 4, 4. Now, the number of distinct values in B is actually 3, 0, 3, and 4. Now our task is to find distinct values for all the values of L that goes from 1 to n. So our L is fixed, right? 1, 2, 3 till n, and our R can vary, right? Now what we need to find is for each such value of L and the ranging value of R, we need to find what is the minimum distinct value that we can get for all these values of L. So let's, for example, we take L as 1, we vary R over all the values, and whichever R gives us the least distinct numbers, that is the answer for this value of L. So we have to compute this for all the values going from 1 to n. For the input format, we have t test cases, and for each test case we are given two lines. The first line contains the integer n, that is length of our array A. The second line contains n space integers, those are a1, a2 till an. As for the output, we have to print n spaced integer. The ith value should be the minimum value of distinct value of function of I comma r, where r can go from all the way I to n. As for the constraints, number of test cases will go from 1 to 10 raised to 5, value of n can go from 1 to 2 into 10 raised to 5, and the elements of array itself will only range from 1 to n as we have seen in the description. Let's see how we can approach the solution. So let's first consider what is happening here. Let's say we choose the value L comma R, right? Remember, these are values, not indices. Now, let's consider this a number line, and this is our range, right? This is L and this is R. Remember, our array will only contain the elements in the range 1 to n. Now, what would happen when we perform this operation, right? Or when we compute this function? So, all the elements that are within L, right? Within L and R will increase by 1. So, they are moving to the right, right? And similarly, all the elements that are less than L, they are moving to the left, that is, they are decreasing by 1. What happens to the number that are more than R? Again, these numbers are also decreasing, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to count the number of distinct values, right? So tell me this, any number that is within the range 1 to R, right? Just for the symbolic reason, right? We are taking 1 to R to understand this. Does any number here collide and their distinct status goes away? Well, the answer is no, right? If we have three distinct numbers, they have just shifted either to the left or either to the right. They have not collided into one. So the status of, or you could say the count of distinct numbers does not decrease or increase here. But let's see what happens at the boundary of R. Here you can see that the values are colliding. To be fair, or to be precise, let's say if we have the value R minus 1, right? Since this is less than R, this will increase and become R. what would happen to the number r plus 1? This is outside the boundary, so this will decrease and become r. So these two numbers, right, where we had two distinct values, now converted to 1, right? So there's a decrement happening here in the number of distinct values. Similarly, what would happen to r? Again, it is within the range, so r will convert to r plus 1, right? And if we have the value r plus 2 available, this will also converge or collide to r plus 1. Again, at the start we had two distinct values, and now this is converting to 1. So we can see that at the boundary, that is r, there's a possibility of two numbers or two distinct values getting decreased. If not two, at least one of them could exist that would give us a decrement of 1 in the total count of distinct values. If that is not the case, then there is no change. And remember that this does not depend on the value of L. L can be whatever, right? But we are only depending on R. So for all the values of L that are less than this, right? For an example, let's take R here. So for all the values of L that is before this R is going to dictate the count of distinct numbers that this function will perform, right? So what we are going to do is we are going to find the maximum R in such a way that it gives us -2, or it affects the distinct count by -2, right? Let's call it R2. And similarly, we are going to find R1, that is the farthest R that decreases the count of distinct numbers by 1. So initially, we have d distinct numbers. Now, if there are any L that is less than R2, right, we can be sure that we can select this range L and R2 and decrease the count by 2. So for all the values of L that are less than R2, the answer is going to be d minus 2 distinct numbers. For all the values of L that are less than R1, the count of distinct numbers is going to be d minus 1. And for all the rest, the answer is d. So with this, first we calculate R2, then we calculate R1, then we go over all the values of L, that is 1 to n, and check if it is less than R2, then the number of distinct numbers after performing this operation is going to be d minus 2. If it is less than R1, the answer is d minus 1. Otherwise, the answer is just d. And with this, we have our solution. Let's see how we can implement the solution in C++. So for each test case, we call the function solve. In solve, we take the input of n, and then we take the input of n integers given as our array. We take these numbers as input and feed them or store them in our frequency array. Since the numbers can only be between 1 and n, it's easy to create an array that goes from 1 to n and keep count of all their frequencies. Now we need to count what is the distinct number in the original array. So for that, we simply count all the numbers that have a frequency greater than 0. This gives us the original value d, that is the distinct numbers in our original array. Now once we have this, we need to find the different values of r, right? So first we find the value of r that will give us a decrement of 2 in the distinct numbers. So for that, we need to make sure that these two conditions are being satisfied. That is, r minus 1 and r plus 1 converges to r, and then r and r plus 2 converges to r plus 1. If both of these numbers exist, then this will be the index of our d2 or r2 in this case. Similarly, we find the value of index that will decrement the distinct count by 1. Then we go over all the values of L that goes from 1 to n, and we check if this index is less than d2. If it is less than d2, it means that we can decrement the distinct count by 2 here. Therefore, the answer is d2. If it is less than d1, we print d minus 1. Otherwise, we print d. And as you can see, I have AC in my C++ implementation. Let's see how we can implement this in Python. Again, we call the function solve, take the input of n and our array, then we make our frequency array and we get the initial count of distinct numbers. Then we go over and find the indices, the furthest indices that will give us either a -2 in our distinct values or -1 in our distinct values. Then we go over all the values of I ranging from 1 to n and check if it is less than d2. That is the index that will give us a decrement of 2 in our distinct number counts. If that is the case, we print d minus 2. If it is less than d1 index, then we print d minus 1. Otherwise, we always print d. It means that there was no change in the distinct count after performing this operation. Therefore, at the end we print all of this, and as you can see, I have AC in my Python implementation as well. So I hope you understood the problem, the approach, and how we can implement the solution in both C++ and Python. Have a very good day, and I'll see you in the next video.